Welcome back to Breakfast Television. Dina and Sid here with you. Bikes, pedestrians, and cars never truly get along. Well, most of the time, but sometimes we have some disagreements. It's a debate in the city that's getting more heated. Now, here's the latest. Toronto police are ticketing cyclists for speeding in High Park, which has opinions even more divided, as you might expect. David Shellnutt is a lawyer and a cycling advocate. David's been kind enough to join us this morning. David, welcome to BT. Good to see you.
Morning, Sid.
Can we talk about this? I'm like, hold on a second. Cyclists are given like $125 tickets for speeding. They don't have a speedometer. How do you feel about that, first of all? And there was a lot handed out over the weekend. Something like 62 cyclists got these tickets. What do you make of that?
Well, my understanding actually is that many were handed out before 9 a.m. on Monday and Tuesday last week, and they're back at it midweek again. That's a time where people go to cycle in the morning, stay safe off main roads, and get healthy, get exercise. So it's a bit disturbing that they're met with men with weapons in a park, radar gunning them and handing out $125 tickets.
But David, I want to take it here. If cyclists, wherever they are, whether they're in a park or on a road, if they want the same privilege or they want to be looked at as the same, why is it all of a sudden an issue to look at a cyclist and say maybe you're going a little too fast, maybe a little too reckless, when there are people in the park there, young and old, a lot of older people using that park early in the morning as well, especially on a nice day. Why is it so out of the realm of possibility to say, look, maybe you need to slow down a little bit?
Sure, I totally get that. And of course, safety is paramount for everybody, as well as enjoyment of public spaces, because we have few parks and a lot of people. But we've got to stop turning to the police to solve our problems in Toronto. Just because we have $1 billion hammer doesn't mean every problem is a nail. And something like this seems like a community issue that we could address just by talking to each other, having some volunteers, some discussions about what's best used, the space is best used for. And in fact, the city is doing that on the one hand with a survey to find out what the best use of High Park is, and I applaud them for that. But then on the other hand, they're calling in the police, which they just do all too often, as we saw with Lamport Stadium last week.
I'll tell you, just this morning while I was driving in, a streetcar stopped, so of course doors open. We have to stop behind it. The car behind me, not paying attention, almost slams into me, slams on his brakes. I'm terrified. I'm in a car. Two cyclists see this whole thing happen, so they move over to the right. They're trying to get their morning, cycle in. And I'm thinking at the end of the day, I'm worried about the cyclists because they're the ones that are most vulnerable. It's the passengers, it's the people walking, rather, and it's the cyclists. So do you think the city is too hard on cyclists in general? Do they get the bad rap? Because at the end of the day, if it's car versus cyclist, the cyclist is in big trouble.
Well, that's, I think, why many of us cyclists are perturbed here. Now, throughout the pandemic, we've seen a cycling revolution, and the city has met those challenges in many ways, put up bike lanes and things like that. But yeah, we are vulnerable road users, and the fact of the matter is that at a staggering number, cars cause physical damage by the tens of thousands more than cyclists. You know, if you look at the police data on High Park specifically, I don't see a pedestrian and cyclist crash in there, but lots of cyclist car crashes around the area.
Look, David, forgive me, because we do definitely need more time for discussion like this. But I'll say this: one, I have seen some cyclists on the road, whether it's here in Toronto or out in the 905, quite frankly, asking for it. They were that reckless. And I'm not kidding when I say that. I sat in my car thinking to myself, what are you doing? So not all cyclists are created the same. Two, if we're in a shared space, like there's a reason a school zone is a 40-kilometer-an-hour zone. I have to drive through there, but there are things I need to think about before I go through that area. So I try and respect that as much as I possibly can. I see no reason why you can't ticket a cyclist who is remotely reckless in any way, shape, or form, whether it's on the road or in a park, wherever. But I will agree with you. I don't think cops and these resources maybe should be used for this. I don't mind the community monitoring this. So are you saying if it's someone else other than police, you're fine with it? And who would you suggest that be?
I just think we should have creative solutions to issues like this. Cycle Toronto does a lot of good work. There's cycling clubs that road bike in that area. We could reach out to them. You brought up a good point about a reckless cyclist, and the thing is that the harm a reckless cyclist causes is not at all proportional to the harm a car driver causes. I've got a cyclist who was hit in a bike lane after a car driver crossed 4 lanes to get to a McDonald's and caused him so much injury I had to get a hip replacement. And the guy got a $110 ticket in an improper lane change. So the response here just isn't proportional to what's happening to us en masse on the roads.
Share the road, look out for one another, and I guess more solutions have to come, better ones. Maybe it's a sign, watch your speed, or I don't know. We'll figure it out.
To be continued, David. This is an important conversation. We really appreciate you joining us today. Let's do this again soon. Thank you, sir.
Thank you both.
Thanks, David. Cycle safe.
We can go an hour. That's a topic people can sink their teeth into. No question about it.
Get along?
Absolutely. All right. Devo Brown continues to talk to some of the biggest stars in the game.
I can't wait to see
that story. Crushed me, dude. It crushed me. And I'm sure it crushes you still, too.
Yeah, not my best decision.
Little piece
Nicest
of home
guy.
with.